If you are looking at some new construction homes around O'Fallon, you might have seen some that are in Amberleigh or Amberleigh, however you want to call it. I've heard people call it both ways. So in this video, I'm going to give you the rundown on some stuff you want to know about Amberleigh, details on the neighborhood, what it's looking like, and just give you the rundown of what it's supposed to look like when it's all said and done, especially if you're moving to the area. So let's get right to it. Hey, welcome back. My name is Jacob Peistrup. If you're moving to Amberleigh or another new build area in St. Louis, if you want some help with that process, send us an email, send us a text. My team and I are licensed realtors. That's what we're here for, especially with that new construction process. You're working with a longer time frame. There's a lot of moving parts. We can help you out with that if you want. That's what we're here for. So right off the bat, you're looking at about 180 homes in Amberleigh when it's all said and done. So they're still early on in the process right now. A lot is under construction. There's plenty of availability with the lots here. Fischer and Lombardo are your two builders in this neighborhood, depending on what kind of house you want and price point. So right off the bat, Fischer is going to be the lower of the two in terms of price. So on the price spectrum, Fischer's going to start out as your lowest, and in this neighborhood specifically, Fischer is building these patio homes, which are designed like these one-story little villas, close together, smaller lots, but they're marketing them as kind of easy maintenance, not a ton of maintenance with these homes because stuff like landscaping, snow removal, lawn care, all of that is included in your HOAs. So everything by Fischer in this neighborhood is going to be these one-story little ranch homes, two-car garage with a basement, either finished or unfinished, depending on what you want. Now these are going to be starting at around $375,000 to $400,000. Fischer does have a couple of these ready to go as market homes that are move-in ready. Those ones are closer to about $500,000 just because they've got a few upgrades and extra finishes with the inventory homes. So the patio home is really designed to be a little bit smaller, easy living, mostly on one story. You can get a finished basement if you want, but overall, two-car garage, smaller ranch. The houses are closer together, and that's kind of what Fischer's going for in this neighborhood. And that's just specific to Amberleigh because, Fischer builds all sorts of stuff depending on the neighborhood they're in, but with Amberleigh specifically, they're just doing these little villas. Between both builders in Amberleigh, you're really looking between $400,000 and $1 million. Fischer does say their homes start at $375,000, but that's the base price. So depending on how many upgrades you want, you're probably going to be starting somewhere closer to $400,000. And then with Lombardo, you could go all out on upgrades if you want. Lombardo definitely does some beautiful stuff. If you want to be closer to 800, 900, $1 million, Lombardo can definitely do that for you. I'd say that's definitely the biggest thing we get a lot of questions about when it comes to new construction, with our clients. The upgrades, sometimes it's just overwhelming how many choices you have. Lombardo is great, we love working with them, but they got a lot to pick from, and sometimes it's you gotta filter between which upgrades are actually a good investment and which ones are just kind of fluff, you know what I mean? If you want to live in Amberleigh, Lombardo will be your builder for anything bigger. If you want a bigger ranch or a story and a half or a two-story home, Lombardo is going to have a lot more options for you for anything bigger than what Fischer's doing. And sometimes it's funny the way builders will kind of switch off in different neighborhoods. So if you look at Inverness, which is another huge new community in Garden Prairie, Fischer and Lombardo are also building there, but it's they're flipped. So in Inverness, Lombardo's doing these little villas, one-level homes, and then Fischer has a lot more to pick from with ranch, two-story, story and a half, and the 5-level home they have, which is the Avery, which is really cool, really unique to Fischer. But if you pick a different neighborhood, you have different floor plans with each of these builders, which is definitely a cool thing about them. But in Amberleigh, you're more limited with Fischer. Lombardo is the one that has more options for you. So in Amberleigh specifically, Lombardo has the majority of lots, and Lombardo is going to be your go-to for the bigger, higher priced homes in this neighborhood. And Lombardo is going to be more expensive in terms of price. So one of the two options you have with Lombardo in this neighborhood is the Nature Series. So Lombardo has two series, the Nature Series and the Tradition Series for Amberleigh. The Nature Series is starting at $425. These are a little bit smaller, not as premium of finishes, and the lots are gonna be a little bit smaller. And then you have the Tradition Series. These are starting at $525, and they'll go up, you know, as high as $900 to $1 million for some of these homes by Lombardo. And with the Tradition Series, you're just looking at bigger houses, bigger lots. A lot more of the homes from the Tradition Series will have a more private and wooded backyard. Some more of the Nature Series in Amberleigh will back up to your neighbors or to the house behind you, because the way the neighborhood's set up, you come into the neighborhood and then you have like 3 or 4 streets that kind of like shoot off from it. And it's just, so the ones in the middle have neighbors in your backyard. And then up top, you have Fischer with the patio homes. Some of those will have a wooded backyard. And then down towards the bottom, there's like this hill you gotta drive down. Anything along that edge by Lombardo is where you're gonna have, again, the Tradition Series with more of that wooded backyard. Now, the thing that's cool about Amberleigh is that you turn off from Highway Double D onto Dyer Road to get there. As you're driving down Dyer Road, you're gonna drive past a bunch of other brand new neighborhoods too. So Amberleigh is towards the back of Dyer Road. To get there, you're gonna drive past Westley. You're gonna drive past Wingate Oaks. Those are all a couple of other brand new neighborhoods, all built within the last couple of years. They're all beautiful. So Amberleigh is kind of surrounded by a bunch of other brand new neighborhoods. It's further back, it is further from the highway compared to Caledonia, for example. Streets of Caledonia is right next to 64. Amberleigh, a little bit quieter, a little bit more removed from the highway, if that's something you prefer, just to be a little bit further from I-64. So it is a little bit further out there. You know, you're probably a 10-minute drive max to get to 64. Plus driving down Highway Double D, it is a faster paced highway, so it's not that far of a drive to get to the highway, but Amberleigh is gonna be beautiful. They're gonna have walking trails, a stocked lake, and then like I said, a really big benefit of living there is that a lot of these lots are gonna have that wooded backyard. So it does have more of that kind of woodsy feel compared to some other of these, you know, bigger developed neighborhoods that are just like house after house where you always have neighbors in your backyard. Not necessarily the case with Amberleigh. Again, it does depend on which lot you get, because some lots will back up to neighbors. Others, kind of on the edge of the neighborhood, will have woods in the backyard. And towards the bottom of the neighborhood, where you have Lombardo's homes, those back up to Darden Creek. So you got the creek running right there. Again, you're gonna have the wooded backyard because you can't really build a neighborhood behind you with the creek right there. And just to give you kind of the lay of the land, in this part of O'Fallon, Amberleigh is towards the west of O'Fallon, and this is definitely an area that you have a lot more new construction. So like I said, you drive past several brand new neighborhoods to get to Amberleigh. I mean, really everything around you in this area is brand new. Like if it's not being built right now, or it's not being finished up with some of these new neighborhoods, it was all built in like the last 5 years or so, I would say. I just dropped the mic again. You'd not believe how often that happens to me. Oh my God. Anyway, Streets of Caledonia and Summerlin are the two big ones nearby that are still under construction. And then Wingate Oaks and Westley are pretty much done at this point. Last I checked, they do have a couple homes that are still being finished up, but they've pretty much sold out. So you're left with Amberleigh, Summerlin, and Caledonia for the most part if you're looking to be in this area of O'Fallon. Amberleigh is set to be a gorgeous neighborhood when it's finished. Like I said, still plenty of availability so far. If you want some help with that process, picking a lot, picking a builder, doing new construction, whatever it is, send us an email, send us a text, whatever we can do to help you. That is exactly what we're here for. So thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Hope you take care. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video right here on the Living St. Louis channel.